All right, so we just went over how to get the mic talking to the Arduino, and we went over how to talk to NeoPixels, right? Okay, next thing we're going to do is hook them both up. And one issue we have is we only have one 5-volt output on the Arduino. So we're going to cheat it a little. I'm not going to explain why this works, but I'm going to have you guys move the ground and the power over one. So from here to here. So that power goes in the VN for the NeoPixel. Oh, I guess I should unplug it first. Okay. So the red goes in the VN on the side here, and the ground goes to the ground next to it. Okay. And then we take our microphone here and analog out back to A0. And then we have, let's see, ground and plus. There we go. So gray is ground, the white is plus. So that's getting the 5 volts. And then we'll still run this thing over to 8. We still haven't used it yet, but run that extra data 8. Okay. So now we have both the NeoPixel and the microphone hooked up. Okay. So we're going to try to get this pulsing and talking. Okay. So let's get the most basics of code for it to talk here. Okay. So let's go to our split. There we go. Okay, so here's our super basic code we have to get the NeoPixels talking, right? So I'm going to create another integer up here called int center point, right? And let's open up where that center point was. So let's go to our sketchbook, and then we should have G's WC mic test. There we go. Let's see, we decided it was 596. Okay. So center point equals 596. Okay. Now you can copy and paste or type it out if you want. I'm going to do int mic equals analog capital R read, start your parentheses, 0, end your parentheses, minus center point. Whoops, that's a capital P. Oh. Whoops, I didn't change that up here either. Typically variables, the second word in the variable is capitalized. I'm not sure why, but that's what I've seen my whole life, so that's what I do. Okay. It doesn't have to be capitalized. Like, it'll still work if you don't, but I just got into somewhat of a habit after seeing it so often. Okay. If center, or if we're going to have to do an if variable. If mic is less than 0 in the parentheses. So if everything inside the parentheses is true, right? So if mic is less than 0, start another curly bracket or a brace. And we need it to go opposite. So mic, let's see, mic equals 0 minus mic. Okay. So 0 minus negative 2 is 2, right? 0 minus negative 5 is 5, right? So a negative value, 0 minus that negative value will be a positive value. So that's what we're doing here. Mic equals 0 minus that negative value, turning it positive. That way we always get a positive value out of this thing. Okay? So basically we're turning a negative into a positive. Now there is a command called ABS. And for those of you, third graders that are taking algebra, absolute does not return a positive or negative. It just says whether it's positive or negative. So we do not have that luxury here in Arduino. So we need to take if it's a negative value, turn it positive. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a basic command for the strips. So strip.set capital Pixel color. And it needs 4 things in here. Okay. And I'll show you how to look that up actually. Let's go to the internet. Let's type in NeoPixel Uber. Okay, hit enter. And Adafruit NeoPixel Uber Guide right there. Right, the magic of NeoPixels. Okay, now we're going to scroll down and look at our left, and we're going to go to software, open that up, and Arduino library use. Okay, so it shows us, include Adafruit NeoPixel, explains the LED pin, the LED count, right, creating the object, shows us all this stuff right here. Okay, strip.begin, strip.show, right? Now, this is the important one here. Strip.setPixelColor. So it needs the number pixel, right? And then how much red, how much green, how much blue. Okay, and we can set that using 0 to 255. Okay, so yeah, 255 is max, 0 is minimum. So keep that in mind. So if I want to make it like blue, I'd set the first pixel, which is pixel 0, RGB, right? So 0 red, 0 green, 255 blue. Okay. And then it won't change anything, right? If I would upload this right now, it wouldn't change the thing. It would just be, off, because I still need to do strip.show. Once I do strip.show, I can hit upload, and it's going to change that first pixel blue. Okay. It got weird again. I'm going to hit upload. There we go. Now it's uploading. All right. So I've got a blue pixel here. Cool. Okay. Now let's change that up a little bit. So right now it's blue, right? What if I were to change it to that mic variable? Remember how it was going up and down? So I want to change it to mic. Okay. So now instead of just being on, it should actually pulsate to me talking. Hey, check, 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 check. Hey, check. Cool, huh? So now it's actually pulsing as I talk. Hey. And as I'm quiet, it doesn't turn on at all. Okay. So let's take a closer look at this code here. Okay. So I'm going to introduce what might be a little tough for you to understand, but currently the louder I talk, the brighter the light goes, right? But what if I wanted that light to go a lot brighter? First thing I'm going to do, okay, so right now it reads analog 0, stores it in the mic variable. Okay, minus the center point. Now, if it's beneath that center point, it's going to be a negative number, right? And so this turns it to a positive value. Okay, if it's positive, it's not less than 0, it just skips it, right? It just goes to the next one. If it is a negative value, it turns it positive. Okay, next thing we're going to do here is, it's called turning linear to logarithmic. And it's a little tough to explain, but let's see if I got a piece of paper here I can write on. So we're going to go to I want to write on the acrylic. Okay. So what we have here is, here's the volume, right? Volume of the mic. Here's the brightness. Okay. So as we see, the volume goes up, the brightness goes up. What I want to do is I want to make it logarithmic, like that. And so the volume, I guess. Let's switch that. Bright, volume. So as the volume gets louder, right, the brightness doesn't get too much brighter until about here, right? Then the brightness starts coming up. And as it starts getting really loud, the brightness gets really loud. And so that's sort of how volume works. Volume works at a logarithmic curve, while brightness does work in a linear curve. We're going to change it. Okay, we're going to change the brightness to be logarithmic. Okay, it's basically, behind that is x squared. Okay. Okay, so let's keep that in mind here. Now we're going to take this as we're talking. The volume, the more volume, the more brightness. But the cool thing is right here, the volume as we're talking around. I don't know if you see the blue flashing as I talk, but it'll actually get rid of some of that just noise. So if I'm quiet, it won't have that flicker because there's that dead point here. And then it has that the louder it is, the brighter it is, and then it gets really bright. Okay. Let's do that here. So first of all, mic equals mic squared, right? Which is mic times mic. Okay. So we just turned it logarithmic, and then mic equals mic divided by 255. Okay, and that brings it back down to a reasonable scale. That way it's not this huge variables. Okay. One more thing we need to do is mic equals max, or whichever one's smaller, min 255 comma mic. Okay. So let's take a look at this here. So it creates an integer, a variable called microphone, right? Mic, and it's going to read from analog 0, okay? Minus that center point. That way it's floating at 0, okay? If the microphone is less than 0, if it's a negative number, turn it positive, right? Okay? No, if it's above 255, max it out at 255, right? So whichever number is smaller. If mic's at 0, it sends out 0. If mic's at 300, the smaller number is 255. It's going to max it out at 255. Remember how I said the strip.set pixel color, the max is 255? We do not want to go above 255 on this, or it's not going to look right. Okay? So this is what keeps it within 0 to 255. Okay? Now, this right here, because it's a max of 255, this turns it from linear to logarithmic. Okay? It turns that flat line going up into a logarithmic line. Next thing we're doing is setting that pixel color here and then showing it. Okay? I'm going to hit upload, and you guys can do the same. And it should look very similar here. Hey, check, 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 check. Hey, 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 there we go. All right. So now it's reacting a little bit better here. Hey, it's quieter. Whoa. As I blow at it, it's really loud. Pa 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 ka ka ta pa. Cool. So it's reacting quite nice. Hey, hey. Okay, so what if I didn't want it blue? I wanted it red. Well, that's pretty easy, right? I would change the R value, mic, and turn that 0. Okay, I hit upload. Uploads it. Hey, hey, check, 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 check. Hey, hey, hey. Cool. All right. So now as I talk into the mic, it changes those colors. Okay. Okay. So now we're reacting to these things, right? And I think I'm going to end the video here and call this good. If you have any questions about any of this stuff or want me to explain deeper, I certainly can. But yeah, this is basic math, basic code. And I know it's like, even though I'm going through this kind of fast, it's not easy, right? Code's not easy to read. Wiring's not always easy to understand. Code's not easy to understand. Math isn't easy to understand. It's something you got to practice with. So feel free to definitely ask questions here. Thanks for watching.